Yes, I got you. Say it again, Mike. Yes, I got you. Yes, have you? Sorry. Yes. Okay. She's helping me. I got my phone in there. Hold on. I gotta get my phone. It'll cause enough interference to screw us up all afternoon.
Maybe getting old age of that. Trying to wait till it's not a boat on the water. Well, I just heard somebody else talking on our radio that was
We're always live.
I can, sure.
We don't?
Let's do it. And they got a view. They got a camera view of the river, right? Hello, race fans, and welcome to the Tri-Cities of Washington and the Columbia River. The Columbia River, as it flows past the communities of Pasco, Kennewick, and Richland that make up the Tri-Cities in eastern Washington. My name is Brad Luce. I'm here with Brent Hall. And Brent, we're getting ready for the APBA Gold Cup race here this weekend on the Columbia. It's the oldest active motorsports trophy in the world. Or another way to say that is, it doesn't get any bigger than this one.
That's right. It's a big deal. We're so glad to be here back on the West Coast. Actually drove to the race, so it's just nice to see the weather's laying down. We're getting set up for an amazing weekend.
Yeah, and we're watching Gunnar Farrell right now up the backstretch at the top end of the race course. He's driving the U21, going to be running under the banner of the Spirit of America this weekend, and we'll have some conversation. The fact you get to drive to this one in the Tri-Cities,
yes,
yeah, that is good, because you and I have been jumping on airplanes to go back east. It's kind of nice to have a drive, and you drove across the state, that hill over there to the left. I'm right on the other side of it, so I had a real short drive this morning.
It's a beautiful drive, but it's interesting. I saw my temperatures go up from 80 to 90 to 101. It was getting hot, so I knew I was getting close.
It's going to be some internet bandwidth issues this morning. We're working through those as best we can, but we decided to go on because our picture is not the quality we'd like it to be, but there's boats on the water, and I think our fans want to see them.
There's boats on the water. We're going to do everything we can to bring it to you, and it doesn't matter how we do it, but we're just going to do it and do it well.
All right, so now I'm going to get to you. I want to ask you a driver question because you have spent time behind the wheel of these boats. Gunnar O'Farrell, for about the third time here this morning, has blown through that upper part of the race course and come down around the top end. Last time we saw him doing that at the test session, he got the boat upside down and way up in the air. Is that in the back of his mind?
Yeah, I doubt it. You know, once you strap in and close the capsule lid, you got to shut that out. But I'm sure up until and then the night before, a lot of thoughts, and up until and then the night before, a lot of thoughts and feelings about that. But I know every lap he takes, he's getting more and more comfortable and just feeling like
he turned that last lap at 150 miles per hour. So a good run for Gunnar.
Yep.
The boat, before it blew over at the test session, looked really good.
They said he was at 196 at the end of the straightaway, which is super fast. They found a lot more speed in the off season. I'm hoping that we see a lot of that this weekend.
Yeah, I was talking to the team during a preseason shop tour, and they were talking about some work they had done on the bottom of the boat, try and get the boat to ride a little bit better, maybe get a little bit more air underneath it, and let Gunnar have a faster piece. And looking good as he comes across start and finish. I think that's about his fourth lap that he's put on the clock. And like you said, just getting comfortable.
Just getting comfortable. I love the turn fast, go left team. I think I got that backwards.
You did, but it's all right.
That's all right, but they're an amazing team. It's 3 generations, grandfather, son, and obviously Gunnar.
Yep.
And so it's a family affair. And he keeps improving.
He did. Tick that one up a notch, got it up to 151 miles per hour. 51 miles per hour. Now Gunnar's pulled his foot. We'll see if he doesn't do another of the timing marks. I think you had about a 9, maybe 10-second run. I had one of the boats make a run of about 12, maybe 13 seconds from the apex. So it's a new race course, and Brent, again, let's go to you as the driver. We've raced here for 100 years.
Yep.
And, well, 60. It's our 60th.
Close, 160
yeah,
is close, yeah.
When you get to our age, Brent.
Who's counting?
They're all big numbers.
Yeah.
But we've been doing this for a lot of years, and while we haven't run on the same course always, for the last, I don't know how many years we've been running on the same course. Now it's different. It's tighter up here at the top end. We don't have a symmetrical race course.
Nope.
So a lot of this, I'm assuming, is these guys getting used to the boat and the water, but also a new race course.
Yeah, and you'll be looking at your RPMs coming out of the corner, what speed you're entering and exiting at. So just seeing how that corner has changed, but you're still in a boat, and truly every race course changes every lap. So even though the buoys are different, a driver always has to think about the wind might change, the weather might change, the rollers come into, so there's just a lot going on.
So that last lap was a timing run for Gunnar O'Farrell, and he turned the lap at 110 miles an hour. Not at all surprising. He pulled his foot out and was, as we were just talking, and Brent was just saying, it's a new course. You got to learn your way around, learn where your marks are, and we'll see a lot of that. In recapping what we've had already here this morning, our first boat out on the water was the U-91, the Goodman Real Estate. Andrew Tate behind the wheel. He had a fast lap of 164.269 miles per hour. However, it came with an asterisk. We understand he lost that to a fuel flow violation. A
little bit extra fuel.
So that one comes off the books. Dave Villwock also came out, and he put 4 laps in the books with a fast lap of 159.988 miles per hour. So a good run for Dave. And then we had Corey Peabody out here in the U9, and he had a fast lap of 161.873. So we're clearly going to see speeds into the 160s. 170 may be a bit out of reach. The course has changed, as we keep saying. We used to have the symmetrical race course, and our corners were 1,200 feet across.
Yes.
Well, not only did they tighten up the top end a little bit, but they opened up the bottom end. That went from 1,200 feet wide to 1,300.
Yes.
They tightened up the top end. It went from 1,200 down to 900. So 1,300 at one end, 900 at the other. We're still looking at those 700-foot corners we had in Madison. That 900-footer has to look pretty big even.
So definitely some differences, but, overall the speeds are comparable. I think you're right. 170 might be tough out here, but the differentiator is going to be the gearbox and what people decide is the right gearbox for this course. And so today they're going out and getting just some data, and then after that they may make some changes that may make it even faster, depending on what they're seeing out there on the course.
Here comes the second boat from Strong Racing's livery. This is the U8, the Beacon Electric. J. Michael Kelly behind the wheel. And Mike had a tough weekend here last year. He got in the first heat, second lap, top end of the race course, racing his buddy and teammate Corey Peabody. Got the right side of the boat up in the air, caught it in the rooster tail, and over he went. And that was a nasty one.
Heartbreaking. And for J. Michael, too, I know he felt bad because the crew had worked so hard, and that was the first heat of the weekend, and for that to happen. But, that's part of boat racing, but I love to see him out here. We saw him pulling up last night. He had his little son helping him, and Carson, I think his older son, is actually racing back east. He said nationals, but J. Michael's here. He's a competitor, and we're going to see some fast laps from him too.
I'm sure we will, and he may not be the quickest out on the race course because in his entire career, he's never been the top qualifier.
He said, I want to be top qualifier someday. So I know he and Corey were doing a little bit of a handshake on, hey, give me some more horsepower. So I think they're working on that too. You never know, but one thing I know about J. Michael, he's cagey. He knows how to win when he's got lane one, and he knows how to win from the outside too. So he's one to look out for.
Yeah, and he is one of the very best drivers on the circuit, and don't ask me to quantify that, except he's never had the fastest boat, yet he has 17 career victories to his name. And if anybody gets the most out of his equipment, I would say J. Michael Kelly might top that list.
He really does. And it's the way he flies the boat. He really gets the boat off the water, and we were just talking about this earlier, but the whole goal for hydroplane racing is to keep the boat aired out, and every time the sponson touches the water, you're scrubbing off a little bit of speed. J. Michael is known for just hanging that thing until he gets to the end of the straightaway, and here he does it again.
Yeah, he sure does, and boy, was that a nice corner at the top end. He was real tight on that tight corner. First lap for Mike was 153 miles an hour, so not quite up there with the 159 we saw out of Dave Villwock, but he'll get there.
He will get there. Oh. So 157.070, so a faster lap there. Does sound like he's finding some more horsepower, and you watch. He'll continue to improve every lap unless he decides to do some timing runs.
Yeah, 151 on the first one, and then he jumped it up to 157. So, and he's rocking and rolling up at the top end of the race course. Watch his line up here. This is the tight corner. And he's out a little bit wider than he was last time, but boy, those are still good turns up at the top end. It is J. Michael Kelly flying the U8, the Beacon Electric, and he puts another one in the books.
Yeah, I love this corner, just the way they come out of it. They're really putting a lot of pressure. Probably seeing anywhere from 4 to 5 Gs in that corner, and they are really coming through.
We will get some speeds here in there.
So that was a 157.930. So again, right in that 157 range. I know he's not going to be happy with that. He's going to go back and talk to his crew chief and figure out, well, how can I get some more speed, whether it's gearbox or propeller. You know, J. Michael's going to be getting after it, but still respectable. That's right in there with everybody else.
Yeah, but wait a sec, Brent. If he'd have turned that lap at 165, doesn't the driver always go back and go, okay, I need some more?
Of course.
That's what
yeah,
you
of course.
do.
But he might have a bigger smile on his face. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, it just might be a lot bigger, yeah.
Mike gets up to the top end of the race course, and he has been told by his spotters that he's got a boat in front of him, and that would be the U11, the Miss Flav-R-Pac, and it is driven by Jamie Nilsen. Flav-R-Pac sponsoring Scott and Shannon Rainey's boat out of Cle Elum, Washington. Boat looks really, really good. I'm the colorblind guy, we all know that, but that boat's really pretty on the water.
Yeah, you were saying you like the new blue.
I do.
It's a little softer than last year.
It is, and I like it. I like it. So Mike is coming slowly off the top end. I think he accelerated even after he went past the exit pin. So everybody just finding different lines that they can test. Jamie off of the lower end of the race course and coming smartly up the backstretch, not running too hard. But
I think one of the fun things too, we've been talking about this a bit, is you need to get your timings from both, like lane 1, lane 2, lane 3. And it just varies slightly, even by a second or two. So it's important. It's important to get it from every lane.
Yeah, this time now, Jamie's coming smartly off the top end of the race course. We'll see what kind of a line he likes. I like that one, and you're right, Brent. That's a great view.
It's pretty.
Coming off, it is, in this early morning sunshine here. Jamie Nilsen flying the U11, the Miss Flav-R-Pac of Scott and Shannon.
Oh, yeah. I think we just heard from a Michigan Wolverine fan, maize and blue. No, that was for Michigan, and I know that. Statman from Michigan already talking about his team. So,
I could not hear him in my ear.
Oh, I heard it. I heard it. So that was a 147.061. Yeah, we're gonna warm it up. So I know Jamie's probably just getting everything settled, but you'll see him probably put his foot in it just a bit more. I can even tell in the backstretch. Looks like he's got a little bit more beans.
Yeah, and this time now his radio guys are going to tell him that J. Michael Kelly has headed back to the pit area. So he's got the water to himself right now.
What a pretty good corner. Look at that rooster tail coming out. We'll see a better speed here.
And you hear me referring to this boat as the Miss Flav-R-Pac. That is the correct naming of this particular one, as opposed to the Flav-R-Pac. I know I say Flav-R-Pac sometimes, but it is technically the Miss Flav-R-Pac. And Jamie's enjoying driving that boat, and it's a good one, and I say it, so I'll just get it out of the way now. One of these days, Scott and Shannon Rainey are going to taste the sweet taste of victory, and as I always say, I'm just really hopeful I'm at that race, because that's going to be a fun one.
Oh, it's going to be a fun one. Tears of joy for sure, and that is a hard-working team. So that was a 150.630. Again, he's improving every lap. I think it's because he's eating his veggies.
There you go.
You know? Yeah.
Oh, that was the joke in the off season with all the frozen diet.
That's right.
They took weight out of it. Yeah. It's good stuff, and we're just so happy to have the Flav-R-Pac people back on board with our sport this year and back on board with Scott and Shannon. Here comes your boat. Scott, Shannon, looks good. Jamie flying it in some rougher water, being left behind by other boats that have been out here, and he pulls his foot, but you can never count that guy out, and he's got that knack for getting an inside lane. And if he gets a jump on you on that inside lane, especially on a course as big as this one, you're going to have your hands full driving around Mr. Nilsen.
Well, we sure saw that in Gunnarsville, and I know it didn't end the way we wanted, but boy, he was ready. He had nailed his start. He was in a good lane, and Jamie's a hard competitor, just like J. Michael.
turned that last one at 148 miles per hour. So he's hanging around the 150 mark. I'm sure they will want to go faster than that. They did a lot of work on this boat over the last 3 weeks.
Yep.
I had spoke with the Rainies on a couple of occasions, and they were busy. And you know Scott as well as I do.
Scott doesn't play.
No, Scott doesn't play. And I asked him, I said, did you get some sleep? And he goes, no, we got 2 more weeks until I get a little bit of sleep.
That's right.
And he's talking this race, and then, of course, next weekend in Seattle.
Yeah.
So we'll get the stopwatch going here, because I think we're going to get a timing mark here from Jamie. It just depends on where he decides to put his foot in it. Is it there at the entrance pin? And I think it was. Jamie's going to put his foot in it at the entrance pin, and we'll see what kind of a line he pulls out. I think he went deeper up there and will come off in lane number 1. But it is Jamie Nilsen with a timing mark here on this new race course here in the Tri-Cities. He'll probably pull his foot out of it right there.
Yeah, it wasn't full song on that. I think he was just checking it out. But I saw been seeing anywhere between 8 and 9 seconds for most, so I don't think he was full throttle there.
And we see Jamie,
probably by design.
We see Jamie cutting the race course there on the Grand Prix course. We've got 2 courses laid here, and this is going to be a little bit different than Madison. We were kind of restricted on the Ohio River with where the boats could cut the race course back to front and front to back. They've had more opportunities here on this bigger race course, so there will be some more slicing and dicing here for lanes once we get busy to go racing. And I fully expect, Brent, that by the time we get the boats out here Sunday afternoon for a final heat, there's going to be some aggressive moves made, because this is the APBA Gold Cup.
You got that right. Yeah, everyone wants their name on that, and I've heard some superstition too, right?
Absolutely.
Do not touch it if you haven't won it.
Nope.
Yep. So the ones that have won it, you'll see them touch it, but those that haven't typically don't, because they want to make sure their name gets on it.
Absolutely. Mickey Riemann, I think, started that, and they wanted him to touch it, and he said, nope, I'll never touch it unless I win it. And he never won it, and he never touched it.
Oh.
Jamie Nilsen, U11, Miss Flav-R-Pac. Good-looking hydroplane there.
Now, how cool would it be to see their first win be a Gold Cup win? Not just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there.
Well, and you know, coming up, our stat man who's in our ear constantly, he's been working diligently behind the scenes. Unfortunately, you didn't get to really participate live with us on our Pick the Prop game in Madison. But I know there was a lot of conversation going on yesterday, and so we will have our Pick the Prop segment coming up at some point today. And during that, we have a panel of, I think there's 5 or 6 of us, and one of which is the fans who get to vote online. And we pick boats, and there's certain stipulations on what boat you can pick. And on our second pick, you can only pick the same boat once all season long, so you want to be very, very sure about where you pick that boat. And we have a big, from our Pick the Prop thing, this is the Gold Cup. We have an extra set of heats here, so you want to make sure you get a good point getter.
That's right.
And you're correct. Nick says he has a big prize for the
big
winner.
Prize.
Yes, I have no idea what that might be.
I hope it's not like a Charlie horse or something. I don't.
I have no idea what it's going to be, but let's put it this way. I lost a bet in Madison, Indiana. I lost a $20 bill gentleman's bet that I had with one of the H1 officials. The money was donated to Nick for the prize.
Okay,
so,
all right. So it went to a good place.
So he better at least get us something worth
better be
$20.
like 20 bucks. Yeah. And he a dozen donuts is what I just heard from the stat man. I don't, man.
Yeah, well,
I'm trying to watch my girlish figure out, you know?
All right, so I am Brad Luce. I am joined by Brent Hall. We are at the start-finish line on the Columbia River in Tri-Cities, Washington, Eastern Washington. It's going to be hot. We're probably going to get to mid to maybe the upper 90s.
Yep.
And there is a good sight. The colorblind guy's looking over there saying, that looks like a lot of black and red over there. That would be the U12, the Graham Trucking and Jeff Bernard that is up the backstretch. This is the first time that boat has been wet since a year ago.
I got to say something here, and maybe I'll say it to him when we get to interview him too, but maybe I'll say it to him when we get to interview him too, but he was holding out on us in Madison. He was like, hey, if we get the boat on the water, I'm not sure if we'll make it. He knew we were going to make it. A lot of hard work from that team getting it together, and they did it right. They really took the sponson off and fixed it the right way.
They really did, and I went down and I was talking about preseason shop tours, and I went down and visited Jeff, preseason shop tours, and I went down and visited Jeff and Tom Anderson down there, and I really learned a lot about the construction of an unlimited hydroplane and why you want to put doublers in, and how if you don't put doublers in and you just patch it, you're just adding weight and weight and weight. And
right.
It had been a long time, to your point, that they felt like they had repaired this boat from just damage and wear and tear. It had been a long time since they did it right, to
That's
your
right.
point.
Yep.
And they did it right this time. And we all know this boat's fast.
We do. We know it's fast. It looks good out in the water too. He's just someone who a lot of people call and will ask for advice. So he's kind of one of those quiet mentors that maybe people don't talk about a lot, but I really think a lot of Tom Anderson, and so does the community.
Yeah, I'm really glad you said that, because he's a very quiet, soft-spoken kind of guy, very smart.
That's right.
Very, very smart, and he lets his work do the talking, but a super nice guy. And
Yep.
I got the opportunity to sit down and spend an hour with him, and I got to know him better. And he just, like I say, very soft-spoken, but it's almost like the E.F. Hutton thing, because when he starts talking, listen to what the guy says, because he knows what he's talking about. I think he knows what he's talking about. I think we got that last lap on Jeff Bernard. At a $1:48, so 148 miles an hour. He's just trying to make sure this whole thing's glued together.
Yeah.
It's the first time they've run the boat since here a year ago, when they had that terrible, potentially horrific crash that involved the U-27. But the boat is back. And Jeff Bernard, as you said, he's driven this boat. He's driven it before. The boat is very, very good. The hull itself has 26 race victories, three race victories, all in this boat, and all with Tom Anderson as his crew chief.
Yeah, that's a good luck
that
combination.
I was going to say, is that a winning combination? It could very well be. How about that? We just heard in our ear from the stat man, 152 miles an hour, just slowly stepping it up.
Yeah, no, that's great. You know, you were talking about Tom and E.F. Hutton. Oh, go ahead, I think. But what I was going to say there is, you're right. He will just tell you, like, hey, I remember talking to him in the off-season, you just need to go get your name on a boat and get out there and get some laps. And that was just before I got in the 440. So I owe that to Tom. Tom was one of those people who just said, get your name out there. I might not be here with you if it wasn't for him.
Well, I'm going to say that I know what you would really, really like to be doing, but we're really glad, and we're very fortunate to have you here with us on the pipes and bringing your expertise into this. This has been a tradition here on the Columbia River for 60 years now. It's the 60th Water Follies, 152 miles per hour on that one. So it's the 60th Water Follies, the 59th year the boats have raced here on the Columbia. COVID claimed one. But the Water Follies continued in 2020 when the boats couldn't run. They did have an air show here, so Water Follies with maybe a bit of a misnomer, but
gotta have the boats.
They had the celebration, and so it is the 60th Water Follies event. I can honestly say, Brent, I was not here at the very beginning. I couldn't find a way over in 1966, but I got my driver's license in 1968. Mom wasn't looking, took her car and a couple of buddies of mine and came here in 68, and I've never missed it since.
Yeah, it's interesting for me. Tri-Cities came later in life. I never came to Tri-Cities until I was actually racing.
Really?
So, yeah, I came with the Hop team, and I'd always been about seafair and hadn't ventured out, and boy, I was really missing out. This is a spectacular place, and whether you're on the pit side or you're on the other side on the backstretch, there's so many memories and great stories that I hear from the fans, and we just want to keep that tradition going. We really do.
We do indeed. And Jeff Bernard has taken the U-12 to Graham Trucking back to the Neil F. Lamson pit area, but not before clocking in a 153.
Yeah.
So they've got to be really happy with that, I would think, with all of the work that has been done.
Yep.
And they haven't been spending a lot of time on propellers and skid fins and gearboxes and motors. They've been getting that boat, getting the hull ready. And
But I heard Tom was kind of on a secret reconnaissance mission, working on motors and gearboxes. So whether that's true or not, but I think it is. I know he's not going to come without any horsepower. They'll just creep up on it.
So we were just told that in our ear we were getting some information on some of the previous speeds that we talked about, and apparently the U-27 Dave Villwock, who had a quick lap of 159.988 miles per hour, he has cleared the tech truck, as has Corey Peabody, driving the U-9, the Beacon Plumbing, and he had a quick lap of 161.873 miles per hour. So this is just testing. This is not qualifying, so we're throwing out speeds here for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's interesting, and we can kind of see who's getting around the race course the fastest. But it's also because this is a new course, and we really don't know what to expect out of it. But coming up this afternoon at, I believe, 1 o'clock, we're going to go qualifying for H1 Unlimited for the APBA Gold Cup. Then it's all going to count. We put some points on the line, and then it really gets fun, Mr. Hall.
Oh, it does. It does. It's funny. I just got a text from one of our fans. Matt Sanders, he is an RC boat racer, and he has a question for us and Tanner, but he just said, I want to know what the initials H1 stands for in the name H1 Unlimited. And I was like, someone please inform me. So I was like, oh, okay.
That's a good one. I'm going to let you field that one.
I'll find out for sure.
I'm honestly, it's a really good question.
Matt,
so
thank you. Yeah, you stumped us.
Yeah. So our fans are looking at a VIP area, I understand. We do not have a monitor as yet in front, so we're not sure exactly what you're seeing, but the stat man is in our ear. H1 Unlimited. I believe this was...
Hey, stat man, do you know?
I believe this came in Doha when we were running over there, and the leadership group was looking for a different name, something to make it sound a little bit more global.
Yes.
And just give it a little bit larger sphere of influence. So H1 was developed, and H1 Unlimited to tie it. He has stumped us, but I don't believe H1 really stands for anything.
Well, that might be the case, but I love the question, and I love that people are interacting with us directly, and we'll get the answer. We'll make sure. I think that's probably it.
And what was this gentleman's name?
So that's Matt Sanders. He actually is an RC boat racer with Classic Thunder, and he races a Squire shop. He has a Bardall. He's been doing it for years. We used to race together.
There you go.
So yeah, he asked the question of the day. I'm gonna have to give him something for stumping us.
Well, I was just going to say, Matt, you stumped the band here, so stay on the line.
That's
Our
right.
stat man will get in touch with you.
Yep.
Get your address so we can mail you your check.
When we don't know, the stat man will either know or find out.
Yeah, I noticed the stat man went kind of quiet on that.
I think he's busy.
I think he's either really busy or he kind of just stayed aside on that one. You mentioned Grand Prix hydroplanes,
yes,
and you talked a little bit about coming over here with the hops. We are told that in the pit area, none of our H1 Unlimited hydroplanes, regardless of what H1 might stand for, none of our H1 boats are in the water right now, and this is an open test session. So we've got some GP boats in the water, and I'm looking down to my left and some people you know quite well.
Oh, yeah, the Harnecks, yeah.
Well, and look a little further down there. So we've got a couple of our teams up here, and the man you love to refer to as Mr. Miyagi is down there, and that man, Mr. Hop, means a lot to you.
Mr. Miyagi is in the house. He does mean a lot. He's probably going to come over and give us some Old Trapper beef jerky here in a minute. But, yeah, you're going to start to hear some noise. The Grand Prix are coming on the water.
And I'm sure they can, even though the boat is all the way down by the Blue Bridge, I'm sure they can hear them in our headsets. Tell us a little bit, Brent, about the power plants that are in these Grand Prix boats and what they can do to them, and just exactly what our fans are seeing here.
Yeah, so big block V8. I hear anywhere from 13 to 15. I hear anywhere from 13 to 1500 horsepower. You'll see them hit probably about $150. Some may hit $160 at the end of the straightaway. But the difference in driving these boats is the power to weight ratio. When you step on it, it grunts. Limited, the momentum builds up, and then all of a sudden when you hit the corner, you realize you're going super fast. But in these, you definitely feel the speed at all times.
So we've got two of our Grand Prix on the water. The second boat coming off the pit area and up the backstretch would be the GP15, the happy-go-lucky racing old trapper beef jerky. Coming across the start-finish line is a boat they call the Charger. Boat is owned by Brian Richards, Always Washington, by Kevin Hedrick. Boat they call the Charger, but I also like the boat on the name on the side of the deck of this GP10. It says the Freak.
Yeah.
Gotta like that.
Yep. I think when we interview, we're going to have to ask some more questions about that because I think there's quite a story.
I am sure there is. Here it comes. The boat we keep talking about it. The primary sponsor is Old Trapper Beef Jerky. Going to get a couple other shout outs for them. So as Greg makes a charge, finish.
There's that noise we were talking about. Boy, a lot of power. I know the Hops, they have really mastered their craft on building engines. And so Greg as the boats go by, it's just amazing to hear them. It brings a lot of joy to the fans and definitely a lot of joy to me too.
Yeah, it starts setting off car alarms in Columbia Park.
It does, but you know what? Who cares? That's good. Hey, you know, it's funny. I'm staying in contact with people. I just got a note from Harold Mills.
Really?
Yeah, one of my mentors, and he raced in this class. It was considered unlimited lights at the time, but a man who knows this class better than just about anybody and taught me so much. So really glad to hear from Harold. He's teasing me on here, obviously, but all is good, and just glad to have his support.
One of the sweetest, kindest men you'd ever want to know. So here comes Greg Hopp across the start-finish line. Then it's young Josh Hardy coming up behind him.
I want to let Josh get by. Boy, I know they've done a lot of work in the off-season to make that boat faster. It hadn't been gone through in the way that Josh and Dad did. So they have gone through just about everything, and I think you're going to see quite a bit more horsepower. Josh knows how to get a good start. Now he's going to have a boat under him that can continue and push him to the front.
And they've got a little different, I like it too, and they added, since the photo that we're looking at, they added some checkerboard on the canard. It is a good-looking hydroplane, and right now it is at the top end of our Grand Prix America racecourse here. I'm Brad Luce, along with Brent Hall. We're just getting started here.
We are.
Day 1 of 3 at the APBA Gold Cup. Couple of bright yellow hydroplanes coming off the top end of the course. Hop in one, Harnack on the outside.
One thing that's special about that Harnack boat is the visibility. It has a really nice capsule. I got to sit in it once, and all the gauges are in a really nice spot. It's easy to see. Not that the GP15 isn't, but it's just, when I sat in that, I was like, man, this is like a Cadillac. I can see why people do really well in that boat, and people do well in the 15 as well.
Okay, so you're that's a boat you know quite well up the backstretch
I do
there.
know it very well.
The GP15 Old Trapper Beef Jerky. You've driven that boat. Put you on the spot here.
Yeah.
How old is that boat?
Man, I don't know, but I know that probably only 15% of it's original.
Really?
Every year, they pull decks off, they redo sponsons, they're always doing something. So I would always consider that a new boat because of how much work they do. But I will tell you, like when I think about when I drove that boat, it talks to you. And as a driver, you want a boat that talks to you. And when it starts getting more air, it will start sponson walking a little bit and spilling some of that air off. And it tells you that, hey, I'm feeling it. And so you as a driver need to pay attention, see what the boat's doing. That might be okay. It may be talking to you good, but then also could be talking to you like, hey, you better watch out.
Greg Hopp, as we know, and you know better even than I do, Greg Hopp is quite the character.
He is. He already told me we're going to have a great interview, so I can't wait to talk to him.
There you go. And folks, you do not want to miss an interview with Greg Hopp. And one time I interviewed him over here before the Grand Prix final. and he was not the fastest boat on the race course. Maybe he was in a straight line,
Yep.
but he knew he wasn't going to be able to turn with the competition. So I asked him if he had a strategy he could share, and he said, Brad, yeah. He says, before the start, I'm going to take this thing all the way up to Richland, and I'm going to wind this motor up so high only dogs can hear it. It was one of my favorite lines.
No, that's amazing. He will come out of things from nowhere. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, what do you say to that? Just laugh.
That's
Just
all.
laugh. Yeah.
I was not expecting it at all. And then he had the line that I kind of alluded to earlier. He's going to set off every car alarm in Columbia Park.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's part of the personality of our sport, the personality being the turbine boats and being the piston automotive powered Grand Prix class. We got some other classes here. Everybody has favorites.
Yeah.
Everybody loves coming to the Columbia River. This is Brad Luce along with Brent Hall. We're on the H1 Unlimited YouTube network. We have no boats on the water right now. We are going to step away, but only for about 2.5 to 3 minutes. We'll be right back. It's the H1 Unlimited YouTube network. It's the 60th Water Follies, and it's the APBA Gold Cup, the 115th running. We'll be back in about 2.5 minutes.
Thank you, Brad.
Perfect, thanks.
Awesome. Hey, it's Brent Hall. We're back online, and yeah, we just had the Cool Cat Motorsports boat go out, and looking really good. I love the story around this boat. They are involved with an organization called Racing to Read, and it's something they've done for several years now. They're back east, but they have done things at the Kirkland Middle School. They've done things. It's just a great program where kids get an opportunity to read books, and if they read the goal, then they get a chance to come to the race. And I can't think of a better reward than that. So it's a little quiet on the water right now. We're kind of changing stages, if you will. I know Brad's off running to run an errand real quick. Erica, we're going to get her set up for some pit interviews, but you've got me for now. And boy, at the 60th Tri-Cities race and the Gold Cup, no better place to be. I'm glad all the fans are here watching, and I also want to just take a minute to say thank you to all the volunteers. Boy, we walk the park, and the number of volunteers that are out here helping is absolutely amazing. Most of them do it for free, and just want to come and help because they love the sport so much, and we're really excited for that. So outside of that, I've got a group of volunteers sitting outside, and it's a group of high school, and they were telling me they do it for fun. I think their families have been involved for years, and one of them told me Edie Dahl wants to be famous. So I got that from her, and yeah. So actually, I talked to one of them. We're actually gonna grab one of the volunteers right now, and you'll actually get a chance to talk to them. But one of the things that we want to do is bring some of the behind-the-scenes stories in racing. So definitely, we always want you to get to know the driver and get to know them better. We'll be pulling in crew members. We'll be pulling in fans. We are actually now going to pull in one of our volunteers. I'm going to interview her here in a second. But, yeah, we're just going to have fun. And today, Friday, is really our free day. It's one of those days where we just off the cuff. So I took a couple text messages from friends. I think now my text messages are blowing up, so we'll do that. But also sometimes we'll pull in people, and I have a very special guest that's coming on, and Brad's getting her all set up. So to intro again, Edie is a high school student at Richland High, and Edie Dahl wants to be famous is how I was introduced to her. So Edie, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so how many races have you been to? So let me ask that first. We'll start with the easy
Zero.
stuff.
This is my first one.
Okay, first race, and just getting a taste of testing. You know, you haven't seen anything yet. I mean, we got a lot more for you. But so have you lived in the Tri-Cities area for a long time?
We moved here about 3 years ago from Florida.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
Oh, awesome. Where in Florida?
Tampa.
Tampa, okay. So still hot there, but this is dry heat compared to there, right?
I know, it's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we were talking with your friends, you guys are helping with different volunteer duties. What's your responsibility?
We just dock boats.
Just dock boats, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it's pretty fun.
That sounds pretty good. So you must be good at it because they're trusting you with pretty good equipment.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So how long have you been driving boats?
Well, we have a lake house, and so I've always been around boats.
Okay. So you're a pro then, is basically what you're saying. Got it. Okay. So you've driven boats. Would you ever want to drive a race boat?
Maybe. It's a little scary, but I could do it.
Yeah, I bet you could. So there's different classes. Like my son is 14 now, but he started in the J class, and that's a junior class. Then you can move up to inboard, and we've got some of the inboard classes here, and that's kind of fun. But I'll tell you, if you see me in the pits, we'll make sure you get to sit in one. And go check it out.
Thank you.
You bet. So, okay, you said to me, Edie Dahl wants to be famous. Tell me what that means, and what would you be famous at?
I'm gonna be a famous surgeon.
Famous surgeon?
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Any particular discipline or?
I want to be an orthopedic surgeon.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Kids need great surgeons, and Children's Hospital is not too far from where I live. Do you want to do it in the Tri-Cities area, or does it matter?
It doesn't really matter. I really like Tri-Cities. I thought I wasn't going to want to be just random in the middle of Washington, but it's actually really great here.
Yeah, it is. And I think one of the things about the boat race is it really brings the community together. It's almost like the Super Bowl for the Tri-Cities area, and now we've got another boat on the water, and we'll talk through that. So I sure appreciate you coming and saying hi, and make sure to say hi to all your friends and tell them you're famous. You will be on the telecast. But Edie, again, Well done. You're a natural.
Thank you.
Okay, so we got water, and I believe that's Jeff's doing a little bit of double duty. We were talking about this in Madison, that it's hard. Brandon Kennedy was doing Grand Prix as well as Unlimited in Madison, and now Jeff's doing it here. So it's been fun to watch, and I know Jeff said, hey, it takes a lot of work to do both, and he's got his head about him, but he sure looked good out there in the Graham Trucking. I know they put a lot of work into that boat to get it ready for this year, and obviously the GP79, that's a front runner. I believe he's second place right now in points, but he is going to push that to the front, and he might surprise us a bit with the Graham Trucking boat. There's quite a history. You heard Brad talk about it. He has 3 wins in the T6. That's the current crew chief, Tom Anderson. Yeah, and I'm getting joined by Erica Reed, and I am super excited. I missed you so much in Madison. We're glad you're here, but understand you're spending some time with Dad, which is really important.
Yes, I was. We were in Florida enjoying some time, but man, did I miss Madison.
Yeah.
And I was happy that we got a final heat in, but here this weekend, I'm really hoping for a spectacular weekend to be able to see the boats on the water and get in some good racing.
We definitely are. Yeah, I can't wait. And the gang's all here, right? So
Yep.
We're ready for some great boat racing, and then the fans are coming too. So definitely thank you for all that are joining online. We really appreciate you being here. And again, thank you to our volunteers. We're in for an exciting weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Exciting weekend to say the least. 60th anniversary.
60th.
Add on the Gold Cup. We're
Boom.
about halfway through the
Look out.
season.
Yeah.
What a perfect time for perfect races.
Oh, man, look at the energy you're already bringing. Oh, man, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. Yeah, and the Statman is saying we got sun all weekend. Statman, can you tell us what, and this is our co-pilot, by the way, but can you tell us what we think the forecast will be for the weekend?
We are looking mid-90s Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Ooh.
Mid-90s, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That is optimal for Tri-Cities. I saw 101 driving over here, so I was like, oh, boy, it's going to be hot. I got my little fans, though, I'll share.
A recipe for
yeah.
a good weekend as we possibly see this guy tie Chip Hanauer. He could possibly
He
tie
could.
Chip Hanauer with 11 Gold Cup victories.
And we are talking about Mr. Dave Villwock. Yeah, and Dave coming out hot. He looks like he's wants to lay down some really hard laps here. Probably getting some timing runs too. It's been taking about 8 to 9 seconds from the exit pin to the start, and Dave looked like he was right on the money with that.
Yeah, I'm excited about what we could witness out of Dave here this weekend. He drove Sharkey in Madison. He
Yep.
got the feel for that hull again. So now that he's potentially more comfortable, I think he could be dangerous
I
here
think
on
he
the
could,
Columbia
too.
River.
I think he could too. The wind's picking up a little bit, so let's keep an eye on Dave there. But yeah, I was teasing him a little bit. He didn't pick up what I was throwing down, but he used to race against this boat. It was his main competitor, Steve David, who will be doing the telecast in Kong. He used to drive this boat and was very competitive against Dave, so they were rivals for sure. And so now to be in that boat, he didn't give us any secrets of well, what's the feeling? He didn't share anything.
Yeah, Dave's a man of few words sometimes. When it comes to setup. He is very in tune with the boat. But when he was out here earlier for the first test session, lap 1, 157.9. Lap 2, 159.9. And that clear tech inspection. So
Solid lap.
very curious what we're going to see out of him.
Yeah, no, I think we'll see more goodness out of him. Looking pretty good. Again, the wind is picking up a bit. I see Mike Hansen over there kind of keeping an eye on things. Oh, wow. 163.203. So Dave definitely put his foot in it. That's one of the faster laps of the day, and now it looks like he's going to do a timing run. So he said, all right, I think I like what I saw, and definitely I know he's going to like hearing that speed.
Absolutely, and it is a very interesting dynamic at BWR as
It
well.
is.
A new team. They have the potential of earning their very first Gold Cup as a team as well. And Bruce Ratchford said he had no words for it other than he would be over the moon.
Bruce
and so
is a wild dude.
it's
Yeah.
very interesting. The team represents both the present with Andrew Tate and possible history making with Dave Villwock.
Yeah, 100%. And driving through the town and seeing all the Apollo Mechanical
Yep.
signs, the man is doing some great things, and love what he's doing for boat racing, both here in Tri-Cities and Seattle, and obviously he's got 3 boats, so he is heavily invested and doing great things. Those
Yeah.
are the kinds of owners that we need in the sport, and if you ever shake his hand, look in his eyes, he's all there.
And Andrew Tate echoed that same sentiment that you said. He said to have somebody come in and be so lively, so energetic, and so invested in it.
Yep.
He said as a driver for an owner like that, it's so encouraging and inspiring.
It really is. It really is. And that's how we build the sport. And, I know, it's exciting to see both sides. So you got Andrew, who's kind of the young gun up and coming and a great driver, and then Dave, the winningest driver of all time. And, I did try and ask. Again, they didn't let me in on the secrets. I did try and ask, like, what kind of conversations are you having? Is he sharing any secrets? And I think they're keeping that to themselves. I don't know why, but...
I did ask Andrew, I said,
Okay.
are you learning some new tips and tricks?
Yeah.
Or, is Dave keeping hush-hush since you are racing against each other? But he said if you have someone like that, a wealth of knowledge, both in performance, on course, and with boat setup, he said if you aren't learning something from him, you're doing a disservice to yourself. So he is ingesting all the information that Dave is willing to divulge.
That's right.
And yeah, very, very interesting dynamic. But how encouraging is that as a driver to have, the winningest driver on your team, not only and have that wealth of knowledge, but also to have somebody like Bruce Ratchford who is so invested? How encouraging would that be?
Oh, it's encouraging. And I think I'm going to go to a movie. Have you seen F1 yet?
I have not, but I really want to.
If you haven't, it's a great movie. And Brad Pitt's kind of like that mentor. He's, a guy who's been driving all different types of cars. I think he was at Le Mans, and then he got pulled into an F1 team. And, he had a lot of history, and he was sharing it with this young and upcoming driver. Hope to see those kinds of stories in H1 too.
Yeah.
It's truly about passing the torch.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's represented just in that team alone. So very interesting. But Brent, like we said, 60th running. We're here on the Columbia River. Gold Cup weekend. What are you most excited for?
Man, I'm just excited for like a full weekend of racing and actually extra heats at that. So I think that's amazing for us and for the fans. Also excited just to spend time and get some of those behind the scenes stories so people really know, like, why am I rooting for this person?
Absolutely.
Why do I love Andrew Tate? Why do I love J. Michael? Why do I love Corey? So I want to make sure that we get those stories out, and then definitely, like we just did, there's a lot of people that really help and support this sport, whether it's volunteers, whether it's the crews. We're going to start pulling in some of those stories too. I think those are really important.
Absolutely. And we've talked a lot about BWR, but I feel like we're here on the Columbia River. We can't go without mentioning strong racing.
Oh, yeah.
Corey Peabody has not lost a race here since 2019, his first win here in 2021, and has never lost on strong racing here on the Columbia River.
That's
so
right.
that could throw a wrench into possibly Andrew Tate's plans.
It could. Yeah, Corey's a hard charger. He definitely knows this course, and this course knows him. It's going to be really interesting. I know we had some picks, so I think I picked Andrew number one for my pick, Corey as my second, and you got really – okay, well, I won't. But I will say there's a lot of people that are picking those two, but there are some dark horses that might be able to shake things up.
Yeah.
J. Michael's one you can never count out. Jeff Bernard in a boat that he's comfortable with, the crew chief that he's comfortable with, may – throw some monkey wrenches in it.
Yeah, talking about Jeff returning here this weekend, he has won 3 races in that haul and with that crew chief. So could that be a recipe for success?
It could be. And, so not just them, but, boy, Gunnar saw 196 at the end of the straightaway at this very course. So he's got a lot of horsepower in there, and just trying to figure out, where to put the boat so he can be in a place to win too. And then finally, you never count out Jamie Nilsen.
Never.
Boy, wouldn't it be amazing for Shannon and Scott to get their first win here on the Gold Cup? That would be incredible. So I'm going to throw that out into the world. So let's see if that might happen. But
like our friend Brad Luce likes to say, it is not if, it is when for that Flav-R-Pac team and Jamie Nilsen and Scott and Shannon Rainey.
Yeah, so Brad is like making little hand signals and stuff. It's like,
he is pumped up about the opportunity of Jamie possibly getting that first win.
I think he's proud of us because he's hearing his words come out in us. So I do pop over there, kind of check. Our older brother, I'll just say older brother. How's that?
Like yesterday, we were telling him he was aging like fine wine.
Yeah, that's the way you want to do it. That's absolutely right.
So a lot of fun Our stat man's laughing at that sentiment, but
What's so funny about that? I don't get it. I don't get it.
a lot of fun possibilities here this weekend on the Columbia River. I can hardly wait, to say the least.
Yeah, and what I'll talk about too. I see one of our cameramen, Robert, and well, I just love the team and the way they're coming together. I mean, sure, we've had some bumps, and that's okay. I mean, we're learning, but some of the drone coverage that we've seen has been absolutely incredible. Axel turning the drone around 360 when Dave was blown over. Some incredible footage, and catching those moments is really critical. So I'm just really glad that we have our team here. We are kind of building even a better show for this weekend and excited about that, but just want to give it up to them too, and the folks in the booth, and there's just a lot that goes on behind it, and you're going to see a great show.
Yeah, absolutely. The passion runs deep with this team,
does.
and it is very true here when we're walking around. So yeah, looking forward to seeing the coverage and getting some good racing in.
Yep. It's truly no different. There's fist bumps, and hey, when things don't, we get frustrated too. But we're just going to continue to learn and grow.
Absolutely.
So yeah, the water's quiet. All is good. We'll just keep talking. Again, I think we saw some Grand Prix testing go out, and it was fun to see the Grand Prix. We got another boat coming on the water now, so so we got your buddy out there, and we'll see what he decides to do this time. Is he going to come out with hot laps, or is he just getting more timing runs? But he's put a lot of laps in this weekend, which tells me he wants to know this course well.
And Brent, his speed right now is so undeniable that I'm so curious to see that match history and his accolades here on the Columbia River.
Yeah,
that's going to be interesting.
It is going to be interesting. And then, like we said, there's other drivers that may get in the way of what your plan is. And I think we said this quote once before, but Mike Tyson said it once, is you have a plan until you get punched in the mouth. And that is a true statement. Yeah, blah, 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 says Brad Luce. But, the fun thing is that we got the 91 on the water. We got a nice corner. Looks like he's come out in lane 3, and he's got his foot to the floor.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see these laps from him. But, Brent, it's very interesting here this weekend as we have a wider turn 1 and a tighter turn 2. So as a driver, how do you approach that in both setup and strategy? Because you really have to balance that fine line of setup.
It is a happy medium because you can change your gearbox combination and be faster coming out of the corners but not have the straightaway speed. And so when you have corners that are different, you've got to figure out, well, what's that sweet spot? I think that's going to be the magic here, is who figures out the right gearbox combination first.
So how crucial are these test laps that Andrew Tate is now putting
crucial. In? And what I don't know is if they actually changed gearbox combinations or not, or if they were happy with what they got. But boy, he's looking good coming out of the corner. I do love this tighter corner, the way they come out. A lot of G-forces that they're straightening out as they come through, and this looks like a really solid lap. I think we'll hear something pretty solid here. Yeah, so Statman always takes care of me. His dad, Mark Tate, also is really good at the teardrop course and dropped a 170 at a course like that. So I think Statman might be trying to put that into existence, that who knows, maybe he could get a 170. We'll see where he lands. So 162, so solid lap. We're feeling good about the laps. But again, when you're a driver, you're not necessarily concerned about the fastest lap every time. It's getting data, and so he'll go back into the hauler, and he'll just start asking some questions. He wants to see what speed he's coming out of the corner, what his RPMs are at. They'll also look at what his wing position was and how soon he's getting into the wing. Those are all factors in how you're able to make the boat fly and go faster. So we just heard the U-27 has cleared tech inspection. So that 163, that hot lap that they put down is official. So, yeah, they got to be proud of that.
They should be very proud of that effort. Again, so curious to see what he and that hull are capable of here this weekend.
163, 155 for Andrew on that lap. Again, he's just picking up speed. Again, we don't know what gearbox combination he has. When we interview him, I think that might be one of the questions we'll have, if he'll tell us. But at Tri-Cities, gearbox combination is everything.
Yeah, and this weekend he not only has the chance to capture his second Gold Cup, but he also has the chance to tie his father, amongst others, with 12 career victories, putting him 15th on the all-time win list. So that history, again, could be made here this weekend. So I wonder if that's an extra added pressure or maybe even more motivation for our U91.
I'll call it incentive. He's sure cool under pressure.
He is.
Even though, I know at some point there's those worries. Very cool under pressure. And his dad, Mark Tate, it was fun getting to talk to him at Madison. He really had a wealth of stories to share, and you can tell he's pouring that knowledge into Andrew and Brent, his son, who races outboards, and it's really cool to see that knowledge being passed on. And I think that knowledge is working. 165, 258, is that what we heard? And yeah, so very, very solid speeds. He's just picking it up and improving every time. So getting a little light. It was nice.
Yeah.
He's floating it. He wants to see if he can get just a little bit more out of it. Can we get a 166 on this? We will see here in a second. But it does sound like he's pulling his foot. So either we got a timing lap coming after this, or we will see him go in. Oh. So 165.733. We're getting closer, and it does look like he's pulling his foot and coming in. 165.733. We got Brad talking to us. Doesn't he know we're live? What's up with that?
He's more excited about that time that Andrew threw down.
I know, man. We just need to have him put his headset back on and talk to us. Yeah. But yeah, no, we're doing great stuff here. Again, what a beautiful day.
I don't think it can get any better than this.
Yeah. So what was the temperature when you left D-Town?
When I left Michigan, I think it was about 73.
Okay.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, very cool. All right.
All right. I think Mr. Brad Luce is going to come back and join you, Brent.
Okay.
We'll chat to you here later.
He was missing it so much, giving us instructions. What's up?
So a couple comments about Erica here, because I was standing just down.
You better stay for this.
I was standing just down the scaffolding from you, and Erica goes, I don't know if I go on there and talk. I'm better with the interviews and blah. And every time I look down here, blah, 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 you were just going, Erica, you did great.
It was good.
Check over there. I think they're looking for you, want to do some wiring and so forth. 165 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate picking them up and laying them down.
I would say so. Yep.
That's moving, and it's very typical of what happens. The boats go out, they run. When they ran in Madison, it was the Ohio River, not the Columbia River. It was a different race course. The humidity was entirely different. We've got the dry heat here. Everything is different. So they go out in that first run in the morning, and we mentioned that Andrew Tate had a fuel flow violation. Well, they get the boat back to the dock, and then they get the data acquisition box, and then they go, oh, well, okay, we can tweak this up, and then you go back out, and it's not uncommon at all to see speeds jump. And we saw both of the boats from Ratchford Racing take a big step in the right direction. I was very impressed. I believe while you were on, Mr. Villwock turned a one.
An exciting weekend to come. The teams are amped up and ready.
Came out before. I would expect something perhaps similar out of this one. This is Corey Peabody driving the U9, the Beacon Plumbing, the boat from the ownership group of Daryl and Vanessa Strong here in the Tri-Cities. And this boat may be old. We can go all the way back to 1992 on this one. But to your point, when you were talking about the Hobbs boat, they get rebuilt every year. So it's
the oldest, fastest boat in the field. Oldest, fastest boat in the field.
Well, it's old and it's quick.
It's got an incredible boat ride. I just love it.
And honestly, you know these guys better than I do.
Yeah.
And some of them I think I know pretty well. I feel like I know this guy quite well.
You do?
I don't know that there is there somebody who is more flat competitive than Corey? Invited him up on stage for his second place National High Points trophy, and he was absolutely, it's the old Ricky Bobby thing, right? Because if you're not first,
you're last.
You're last.
Yep.
That's the way he
works.
looks.
Yeah.
That's the way he looks at it, and I like this guy. I like him as a competitor. His boat is fast.
For a new course, they're figuring it out fast.
they are figuring out. Well, they're the best in the business.
They are.
They're absolutely the best in the business. As Corey Peabody puts another one in the books. The U9 again. This is, and he pulled his foot right there. So he turned a couple of hot laps. We'll get the stat man in our ear. He will give us a speed, and I'm gonna just take a guess. I'm usually wrong, so I'm gonna say 162.
162.
I'm going with that.
I'm gonna go 161.
Oh, I forget what I guessed.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. No, that
Well,
was
so
it.
now it's never bet against the stat man, and I guess never bet against you.
Oh boy,
Okay,
you can
shoot.
bet against me.
Okay.
That's kind of fun. No, it's and what is it about the turbine? I've heard so many different theories about it because it's not atypical for them to go out and run a lap, and then the next one's a little quicker, the next one's a little quicker.
The speed seems to build, right?
Did they get everything? I know in the piston, you get everything warmed up and all that good stuff, but I guess there's some of that similar philosophy with the turbine motor, that you get it lubed up, get it warm, and away it goes.
Yeah, they do. Every race we've been at, we've seen the qualifying and testing speeds. Lap 1 get faster than lap 2. Lap 2 get faster than lap 3. So it's or the other way around. But
There you go.
But yeah, it's really interesting to watch that. And I remember it in Gunnarsville. It just seemed like momentum was building.
Yep.
And for those first couple laps, you teased me about my 129s, and then we got some 140s, some 145s, some 148. So it is interesting just how that builds over time.
So we keep talking about the APBA Gold Cup and how big it is and the oldest active motorsports trophy in the world. It also means our race format this weekend is going to be a little different. And basically what our fans are going to notice on 3 major fronts, if this was a typical Columbia Cup here, we would be running 3 sections of heats. We would have 1A and 1B, 2A and 2B, 3A, 3B, and a final. And the Gold Cup was originally developed as more of an endurance race. Yeah. So we will run heats 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there will be an extra section of heats that we will run. And typically our preliminary heats are 3 laps in duration. All of our preliminary heats this weekend will be 4 laps.
Yes.
As we heard this morning at the drivers' meeting where you were, as J. Michael Kelly comes out of the pit area and is on the backstretch now in the U8, the Beacon Electric. And then the other thing we're going to notice first up before we go racing, when we go qualifying, suddenly things are different. Our boats have to come out and turn 3 consecutive laps, one of which must be north of 130 miles an hour. And they're looking, Mike. Mike just picks up that right spots, and it just wanted to wave at the fans here.
I love how he flies a boat. It's such a piece of art when you see him come out of that corner and he's hanging the boat like that.
Yeah, it scares the daylights out of me when he does that, but yeah, he can do it. So anyway, back to the qualifying thing. They have to run 3 laps, one of which has to be north of $1:30. Well, for Gold Cup qualifying, it's a 2-lap average. So they have to come out and run 3 laps, and then we'll take an average of either the first and the second lap or the second and the third lap. It has to be an average of 2 consecutive laps. So you can't average 1 and 3. Either take 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. And of course, the Statman has a program that's all put together that'll automatic. Yes, you and I don't have to pull out our abacus and stay here and start
all we
running
heard in
numbers.
our ear was So I love that. Yeah, the Statman's on it. Got to give him credit. He's always up in his game, so we sure appreciate that.
3 a.m. and that I'm not kidding. That is
always Pacific time. Oh, okay.
Statman.
I think he's looking for us to get our violins out. Maybe.
I think so.
158 on that one.
So 158.5 for J. Michael Kelly on that first lap. Yeah, the Statman is amazing, and he's going to tell me in my ear what year I met him in San Diego. But the story goes, he came and here was this guy walked up to me with a T-shirt on, and he had a piece of paper pinned on the front of it said Stat Boy.
Stat Boy. Okay.
And I got introduced to him, and who's this guy? And then all weekend long, of course, it was San Diego, so we're trying to calculate what the scenarios are for winning the race and for winning the National High Points Driver Team Championship, all this good stuff as Kelly comes across for another hot lap. And we got close to the final heat, and he's come with all these scenarios. If he finishes first and he finishes 3rd through 9th, and on he goes, and I walked out of there and said, I am never doing another hydroplane race without the stat boy. Technically, I did, because the stat boy never showed up again. Stat man showed
That's
up.
what I was going to ask. Okay,
Kelly,
I was
I
going to
think-
ask, how did he graduate from stat boy to stat man? So-
I believe Kelly Stockland had a
Okay,
hand
that
in
makes
that.
sense.
But and then the piece of paper pinned to the T-shirt went away.
Yeah.
And check him out upstairs. It says Statman on the front of that hat.
It's stat man. It's different color socks. He is something else.
He within unlimited hydroplane racing, and he can hear us, and so
Yep.
we've got to be careful what we say here. But
He might turn us off.
Yeah, absolutely. But he is approaching equivalent to Monday Night Football,
Yeah.
and Malibu Kelly Hay does it well.
Yes, he does.
So I'm Brad Luce. This is Brent Hall. We are at the start-finish line tower here on the Columbia River in the Tri-Cities of Washington. Inside 55 minutes, and I stopped mid-word to hear exactly what he was saying, but Columbia in the Tri-Cities of Washington. It is a very arid climate here in southeastern Washington. If people think of the state of Washington and think of Seattle, they think of green, they think of water and rain and all that good stuff and beautiful big mountains. We got some mountains around here, but we have the tallest mountain, I'm told, in the world that doesn't have any vegetation growing on the top of it, and that's that one out there to the left, Rattlesnake, at the top of the race course. So I think that's right. There it is. There's Rattlesnake Mountain you're taking a look at. And the next obvious question is going to be, it's the tallest mountain in the world that doesn't have vegetation. How tall is it, Brad? I don't know.
I don't either.
But you got a phone right there. Is that one of those smartphones?
No, it's a dumb phone. Yeah.
Start finish. We've got our panel of experts here is keeping an eye on us here. You said they were Richland High School?
Richland High School,
There you
yep.
go. The Bombers are well represented.
Yeah.
I'll bet it did, of course, Brent being a Mercer Island. No, you were a Bellevue guy.
So I grew up on Mercer Island and then graduated from Newport and Bellevue. So I got a little bit of both.
You do?
Yep. Coach Belcher, hello. That's my basketball coach. But yeah, just learned a lot about teamwork there and love basketball.
So I'm going to get a little bit, I'm going to put a little trivia out here that our fans may not know.
I know where you're going.
And you know where I am going, but it's true.
Hey,
and
can we
you
switch
told
subject?
No, we're not switching subjects.
Okay, all right.
So Brent Hall, this guy right here this is one of the kindest, nicest, soft-spoken guys you would ever meet.
Nope.
He was a high school basketball player, and he told me this is the biggest trash talker the league ever knew.
Yes.
This quiet personality right here.
That's part of the game.
That's part of the game.
You have to talk trash. Is that your left hand or is that your mom's left hand? Whatever you want to bring. But yeah, my job was to get in the point guard's head.
There you go.
And I did that probably 70% of the time, and then if not, might be someone who could dunk on me. Yeah.
But you could dunk a tennis ball.
A tennis ball, that was it. I needed a little bit bigger hands, but yeah, I did work on my hops. Now I'm working on my sons.
There you go. Good for you.
Talking about trash talking, the 165 for Andrew Tate just cleared the truck. He can do some flexing, but knowing Andrew, this is just the beginning. He's not even excited about that. He's going to hold that to himself, but that is something to be proud of.
It absolutely is something to be proud of. But again, it's testing.
It is.
So it doesn't count.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't. We're not going to get any points here for this. We're going to go qualifying this afternoon, and that's when it starts getting very serious.
Yeah.
We've got some of our smaller boats coming out on the race course. We have some 2.5 liter stock, some 2.5 liter modified, and I did a quick walk through the pit area this morning, but I don't have a list of all of them here. So I could be rude and just toss this to you and say, take it and tell us who all these people are, but I'm not going to do that unless you are on top of your game.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't get to do a walkthrough, but I'm kind of looking to see if I recognize that boat, and I don't yet, but we will get some data on that right now.
That is the Crazy Eights, I believe. That should be Jade Deathridge, I believe, in that one.
Jade was next to me in the driver's meeting, and now I know why that smile was so big.
There you go.
She must be driving.
A good kid and a great family.
Yeah.
A great family. And we've got another of our boats up the backstretch. We are going to see Marina and Marissa Bartels
Yes.
here this weekend, watching them drive. And I had a nice conversation with the two of them. In fact, that little piece of paper that's sticking up on the front of my book there, you'll pull that out, you'll find it's a hero card.
Oh, you're
for
already getting
Marina
signed?
and
Oh.
Marissa. They brought it
Not
over.
signed.
Well, no, they gave it to me so I'd know they're sponsors.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But the question that came out was, and that is them, I believe, right there.
Yeah,
I
that's
believe
it,
that is
A1.
our A1. So I'm going to believe that is Marina that is behind the wheel because she won the coin toss and is going to drive the first heat. So I'm going to assume she gets the first test.
Okay.
And the boat is sponsored by BWR Racing, Bruce Ratchford, but they also have
Couple.
Windsor Associates on board with them, along with our friends at ExcelNet.
Yeah, XLNet. Dan Wyatt is a great supporter of the sport and has done the sport for years. And they are at Nationals this year.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
with the boys, and they're getting ready to go get some hardware. So,
Yeah, he's
hey,
back.
hey, Dan and fam, we're thinking of you over there.
Absolutely. I spoke with him just last week before he hit the road and people started coming this way. So a lot of activity going to take place here this weekend. It's not just the APBA Gold Cup. We've got our Grand Prix hydroplanes, as we saw already this morning. We had a number of them on the water. I did not get to be on the pipes with you when Jeff Bernard was out there in that
Yeah,
GP.
Swanson picked up, but motor sounded really good. She sounds like she's got some good horsepower behind her, and I think it's going to be another good weekend.
Yeah, I was talking to him this morning. I said, so how do we figure out who drives?
Yeah, I didn't know the coin flip.
Well, and it turned out it was not a coin flip, but I saw them doing some crazy handshake thing. And yeah, they were doing that. And
all right.
I don't know if there's a name for that, but that's what they were doing. And I happened to be talking to maybe some other young drivers because there is so much talent coming up in our sport.
You bet.
And for every person that we have coming up in our sport and making a name for themselves in the smaller classes of hydroplanes right now out here in Region 10, in all the other regions of the APBA across the country, they're doing the same thing.
They are, yeah. We're seeing quite a resurgence, and it's great to see it start at the junior class. And, whether you're on the West Coast or East Coast, Midwest, those classes,
Yep.
it sure is fun to watch. And you'll see at Seafair, we'll have a demonstration for the J kids, and it's really special to see the kids out there. And those are some really rough waves, but they handle it well. I'm so impressed. And this is great training for when you get your driver's license. They get it done well before they get their driver's license.
And I don't know all of those J-Stock outboard drivers,
I know a few.
but there's one guy by the name of Brent Hall, and with the bat. No, they were doing this. Statman had to come down and understand the process by which the Bartels were figuring
Go
out.
back to your chair, Scott, man.
I remember
Jeez.
how you throw the bat, and you have to do the very top there. But your name is Brent Hall, but
Yes.
it seems to me there's another driver who has a very similar name.
There is.
Tell me about the boy. Tell me about your
Well,
son. How's he doing?
He's doing great.
First of all, he's taller than you are
Well,
now.
I was just going to say we swapped names. I used to be Big Brent, and he was Little Brent. Now I'm Little Brent. He's Big Brent. I'm like, okay, because he's 6 foot and has outgrown the junior class. So this will be the first year in probably 4 years he won't be out at Seafair as a driver. But,
Okay.
he's playing basketball, and now he's trying to say he's going to be dunking at some point. And I'm like, okay, well, you need to work on your hops. But he's a good kid. I think one of the things I'll say about the junior class is what really drew him to it wasn't Dad. I remember talking to him the first 8 years. He was like, "Dad, that's your thing. I don't really want to boat race." So I was like, okay.
Fine.
And then COVID happened, and a friend, Dave Valancourt, told me, why don't you just tell him we'll buy a boat, try it for a year, and see what happens. So I tried that, and I said, well, COVID happened, no Seafair, we're going to buy a boat, see what happens. He said, okay. I was like, what? He said, okay. I said, oh my gosh, I got on the phone, I started buying motors, boats, you name it. But the thing that really hooked him wasn't necessarily racing at first. It was the relationships and the friendships. So hanging out in someone's motorhome or spending the night at a friend's house, that's really where those relationships are made, and we're really seeing them build.
Here we go again.
Yep.
Here we go again.
Yep.
You and I, Friday afternoon in Madison, Indiana, sat down with, 250 organizers, whomever. And what was the common theme? It was about friendships and relationships.
That's right.
That was the best part of boat racing.
Yep.
And here's your son saying that's what he enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
It really is true.
Yep.
And it also, what we learned and what everybody talked about, and you can speak to, the bond it builds between you and your son.
Oh yeah, the bond it builds between me and my son, and then even the husbands and wives and sisters. We all have kind of grown to love each other, and so it means a lot.
So I have to ask this question only because we talked about it earlier, but can the kid trash talk?
He's not that good at it. I'm like, dude, you got to talk some trash. What is that? No.
Got to blow some smoke here, dude. Come on.
Dad, I just go shoot. I'm like, okay, but this is part of the mental game, is you do trash talk a little bit, but that's not his thing. And so just like we said with boat racing, I'll let him decide when it's time to trash talk.
That's pretty good. So in looking at my clock,
Yep.
I've got about 10:15 here out in Pacific Daylight Time in the Tri-Cities of Washington. I'm Brad Luce. He is Brent Hall.
Yes.
And we are day 1 of 3. We're just getting started
I think
here.
we quieted the water. It's starting to get calm. We're just talking about kids and all kinds of stuff, but all great stuff.
It
just
is.
want you to have those stories.
It is all great stuff. So, and I say that, and we have another boat out on the water.
Yes.
But Brent Hall and I are going to take a step away here for a moment. We will be back in about 3 minutes. Left on the clock, Folly celebration on the Columbia River, the 115th running of the oldest active motorsports trophy in the world, the APBA Gold Cup. For Brent Hall, I'm Brad Luce. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Yes, we will.
Thanks. That's awesome. That's awesome. Not yet. Lawyers, guns, and money? Or a buyer for my house? Sure. 74303 East Grand Bluff Loop in the gorgeous town of Kennewick, Washington. You can fire me up anytime you would like. It's just me right now. He's doing what the high-paid announcers do, which is sit and relax on a cooler. I know. It was brutal yesterday. Sure. Give me a countdown or something. Back here on the Columbia River in Tri-Cities, Washington, this is Brad Luce on the H1 Unlimited YouTube network. We are live at day 1 of 3 of the APBA Gold Cup, the 60th Water Folly celebration here in the Tri-Cities of Washington, the communities of Pasco, Kennewick, and Richland. We are actually situated in Kennewick. That is the side of the race course that the start-finish line is on. Looking across the race course, you are looking over to the Pasco side. And I know earlier this morning, or during our last segment, we had the camera turned up on Rattlesnake Mountain to the west, and that is up toward Richland. So the three communities here, Pasco, Kennewick, and Richland, form the Tri-Cities. A little bit to the west of us is Benton City. To the right is Walla Walla. But no matter how you cut it, what community you talk about, you are in wine country here in the Tri-Cities. Some of the most incredible wines in the world come from this region. It's become very, very famous. But it's also very famous for very, very fast race boats, and we've got one of them. It is the U-21, the Spirit of America, with Gunnar O'Farrell. Now, if there is possibly I don't want to use the word boring, but I think I'm going to. It's kind of a boring paint scheme on a boat. It's all white, and it simply says Spirit of America on it. That was not the plan. They had quite a color scheme ready to go. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it wrapped in time. So what you see is Gunnar comes across start-finish line, is a predominantly white boat. It's got some emblems on it from our branches of the military. Spirit of America is on the side of the boat, and Gunnar O'Farrell drives it with the checkerboard effect on both the left and the right fairing. Now, coming off the top end of the race course, we have Jamie Nilsen in the U11, the Miss Flav-R-Pac, saying that it is the Miss Flav-R-Pac. Jamie Nilsen. Jamie out of Gig Harbor, Washington. Shannon Rainey out of Cle Elum, Washington. Scott and Shears, the family, is very much involved in H1 Unlimited Racing. Shannon herself is a H1 Unlimited board member. Her husband Scott doubles as not only the boat owner but also the crew chief. He is on the competition committee, and the kids are involved as well. So these are the working people within H1 Unlimited. So coming slowly off the top end of the race course is Gunnar O'Farrell in the U21, the Spirit of America. He is way wide up against the outside course marker. Gunnar O'Farrell became a qualified driver here a number of years ago on the Columbia River, became qualified with the requisite number of laps here at the test session. And then but he's had a couple of opportunities to do that. The young man is a very accomplished driver, and if things are correct within the boat and the boat's ready to go, Gunnar will do everything necessary to put it on top and out front. So you saw there on the screen, hopefully you caught there, that Jamie Nilsen in the bright yellow and blue Miss Flav-R-Pac, the U11, cut the race course. He went from the front stretch to the back straightaway. He went around the Grand Prix course instead of going all the way to the bottom end of the race course. That is a legal maneuver here on this 2.5 mile oval on the Columbia River. Nice corner at the top end from Jamie. And we'll really be diving into cutting the race course front to back, back to front, because when we run our H1 Unlimited hydroplanes, we fight for lanes. When the boats come out on the race course for their heats of competition, they do not know what lane they will race in. They fight for that right, and whatever lane they get, they fight for that during what we call the milling period, which is the 5-minute period between the 5-minute mark when they come out on the race course and the actual start of the race. Gunnar O'Farrell across the start-finish line here. Spirit of America still driving on a wide line right there. And he and Jamie Nilsen are just about exactly 1/2 a lap apart. As Gunnar came across start-finish line, Jamie Nilsen was halfway up the backstretch. Now both boats are in the corner, and they are at opposite ends. Gunnar at the bottom. Here comes Jamie Nilsen off the top. Got Gunnar going slowly up the backstretch right now. We'll look and see if perhaps he might do a timing run. And we talk about timing runs like everybody knows exactly what those are. Just taking a brief moment to explain that. The boats come out of the pit area lane, but our entire start sequence is done on a clock start. And the idea is when the boats come out on the race course, they are on the clock. It is counting down. And the name of the game is to put your boat on the start-finish line as the clock strikes 0. And don't get across the line before it strikes 0. Timing runs, they're timing how long it takes them to get from point A to point B. Oftentimes point B is that start-finish line. It may sound a little bit confusing as we talk about it here, but once we go racing and you see it once and see it happen on the water, you will understand exactly how this works. Jamie Nilsen just made a nice hard run to the line. I look to my left, Brent Hall came down. He came down, put the headset on. He is coming in to join me here as Jamie Nilsen's going to go back and join his owners at the dock. But Gunnar O'Farrell coming very slowly off the bottom end of the race course, and people might think could be part of a start sequence timing run.
It sure could. Yeah, he when you're out there, you have like goals to go get, whether it's timing marks, whether it's to see what top speed looks like, or maybe you got some feedback from your crew. They just want to get more data, and so there's always something specific to go out and do, and as a driver you got to bring that back.
And that was an interesting maneuver there because he came very, very slowly off the bottom end of the race course, and I thought he might pull that all the way around the race course. We saw Dave Villwock do that earlier this morning, but then as he got about 1/3 to 1/2 of the way up the backstretch, he put his foot in it, and now Gunnar's got a fairly decent amount of boat speed as he comes off the top end, again sliding way to the far outside. Does this mean Gunnar may want to be running in that outside lane when we go racing? We will find out, but Gunnar.
Yeah, I have seen that where Gunnar typically likes that lane 3, and he'll focus on getting a really good start. So that's why it's important to get your timing marks from that lane, so you know you might be a second off if you did it from lane 1.
Yeah, and that was interesting because that is exactly what he did. That was a pure timing run all the way off the bottom end of the race course.
Yep.
And it's not just how long does it take you once you mash the gas at the top end to the start-finish line, which we all watch, but it's a 5-minute warm-up period, so you got to know how long it takes you to go all the way around this race course at a certain speed.
That's right.
And for our longtime race fans who may have forgotten, the dreaded 80-mile-per-hour rule is off the table.
Gone.
It is gone. We, in fact, Erica Allreed and I ceremoniously buried that in Gunnersville, Alabama. As slow or as fast as you want during the warm-up period. Here comes Gunnar.
Hey, Brad, my inner Harold Mills is coming out right now, and I want you to look at the water. See how the water color is changing?
Yes.
That's where you can tell that there's a wind swirl there. And so when you see that black water, it's just an area as a driver you got to keep an eye on. And I know in a 2.5 mod, he was on a record run, and he saw that water, and he knew he just had, but didn't quite make it through.
Ooh.
So it's one of those things where, as a driver, you really want to read the water, and it's changed since we were here earlier. Now you're seeing this dark water here in the front stretch. The back stretch looks fine, but those are the things that your crew and you as a driver need to notice.
Spoken like a true driver, and I'm assuming you watch for that when you're in the cockpit, but then you also have your spotters talking to you, making you aware of that.
Yep, you watch for it, and as a driver, it's always your job. So, yep, you got spotters, but they may not see it, so it's always up to you to really be paying attention to everything.
And we have the course open for open testing until 11 o'clock. We are going to stay in touch with our officials a couple of levels up above us and see if there are other boats that are in the water. We were told about the 21 and the 11. I believe that is all that wants to come out during this session for H1 Unlimited, but that does not mean we could not open a course and get a GP or perhaps a 2.5 mod or stock out. So we will monitor that, and as we do, the stat man's in our ear saying we have a Grand Prix boat or two going to come out on the race course, so to get a little bit louder out here.
Yep. It's kind of fun. I've been hearing from friends, and I'm losing my voice, so I'm working on that. But John Lynch used to be the voice of the Unlimited Lights, reached out, and he's given us a thumbs up, and that we talked about Harold Mills. But he just said all the best. We appreciate that you're out there watching us, and I think we learned a lot from you and how you called races. So,
hello to Mr. Lynch. Worked with him closely, and he and I had some fun times together.
I bet.
We were pit reporters
Two
together
characters,
at
yeah.
Seafair for I think 6 years, and had a good time with it. It was always fun. John knows his stuff.
He does,
and he was always good to work with. He was good with the interviews, and I see 1-2 Grand Prix boats coming out. We'll see if we get any more.
Yeah.
But it'll get a little bit louder. So
he's a fellow Newport grad. So yeah, I got
Mr.
that.
Lynch?
Yeah, I got that in common with him. Go Knights. What's up? So,
oh, brother.
Yeah. Well, you said Bombers. What's that?
That's these kids over here.
I know, but
and then I
don't want to hear that.
I heard about the Maize
Here
and
comes
Blue
the trash
early.
talking.
Yeah,
Here it comes. People are about to pull it out.
Only Brent Hall can bring trash talking to broadcasting.
Yes, I can, and I will. Yes.
I like that a lot. Well, I don't have to look too far to figure out which boats are coming out on the race course, because eventually I'm assuming we're going to get the old Trapper beef jerky out there. That's going to be out on the water. But right now we got Josh Harnack up the top end of the race course, and a boat we have not seen yet today, which is going to be the GP17, the Miss Renee, boat owned by Brian Reynolds out of Snohomish, Washington. And the best nickname in hydroplane racing, the boat is driven the GP17 by Awesome Austin Weaver.
But the GP12 looking really good. They did quite a bit of work in the offseason. I was talking to his dad, Brent Harnack, who is a national mod driver and definitely a hard charger too. They redid the whole model, mod trips, and now he's down. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, he lost power. I don't know if he was headed back toward the pit area. I think he was, but he's not going to make it under his own power. So tough break. We hope that's nothing too bad. But did you ever drive that boat?
I never drove that boat, but I sat in it. That's a Ron Jones Jr. Capsule, and love the way that's outfitted. All the gauges are in perfect spots. It's really well thought out capsule, and that's your office, so you want it to be well thought out.
Driver friendly. I like that. Awesome. Lost an 8 grid. Top end of the race course, GP17. This is a good looking hydroplane.
It really is. I like it. Great job.
I do too.
Fast, but really hoping for a nice, productive weekend.
Yep. And we're really glad Cat Motorsports. Yeah, they found their way out to fill out our field here. They had not been out here before that I'm aware of. The owner, Ed Thompson, out of Street, Maryland, came here and brought the GP 135.
Yeah.
Cool Cat Motorsports, boat driven by John Shaw. They were out earlier today.
John Shaw is a good dude, and I love that family. They've been a big part of APBA racing for years and several generations, and they're just a supporter of the sport. You'll see them chime in on Facebook posts and just hear something from the show out there.
But Greg Hopp came back after running the Unlimited Light final heat, and he was in the final heat in the Unlimiteds, and I interviewed him on a dead run. We had to run from one dock all the way down to another. We were both huffing and puffing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Did it on the run, literally. Here comes Bernard, GP79. This boat's a quick one, owned by Mike Grandell out of Webster, Massachusetts. Mike Grandell, very, very active within Grand Prix America and HRL. He is one of the big names, the movers and shakers in the sport. We expected we would see the Old Trapper beef jerky come out. It's up the backstretch. We will have Greg Hopp come by here shortly. So we got 3 of our boats here now. Top end of the course.
Yeah, and you'll notice with the Grand Prix, you really want to take a minute to let the motor warm up, let the oil start flowing through. Just jump on it. That's how you can tear up a motor real quick.
Yeah, and we will really see that when it comes time for qualifying, because they can put 2 laps on the clock, but the first one is always a slow lap. All they're doing is just to your point.
Yep.
Here comes Jeff in the GP79, just a slow troll across start and finish.
Oil pressure is such an important gauge in these boats. You really want to make sure you're watching that as you're hitting the end of the straightaway, as you're coming out of the corner. You want to make sure that oil pressure stays up.
GP15, Greg Hopp came across start and finish line with a lot of authority, and I think all of our Grand Prix boats, not so much. Looks like Greg's going to stay out one more time in the Stettner Electric Old Trapper beef jerky hydroplane.
Yeah, that team is really great with their sponsors. They do a great job of promoting everyone, whether it's the Old Trapper beef jerky going around, Stettner. You'll always hear Jerry and Greg talk about their sponsors. It's an important part. And truly, they're like family members. So they love hearing their name, love being associated with a great boat, and that's why they have so many sponsors on their boat.
They absolutely are the king, and especially of the local sponsor.
Yes.
They love to do that. They do a great job of it. Here comes Greg, going to put his foot in it. And we got a brand new Old Trapper beef jerky plant being built here in the Tri-City. So they're going to be a big local sponsor here. As Greg comes like that hydroplane, that is a good-looking rod on the water.
It is. And I can't really see from here. I can't tell if Overturf Volkswagen Kia is only a staple here in the Tri-Cities. We drive past it every year, so hello to the folks at Overturf.
I was told this morning they most definitely
That's what I
are
thought.
on
That's what I
board. In
thought.
fact, my note here somewhere has it. There it is, Overturf. Yep,
Yeah.
I drove by them this morning as well. So happy to have them on board along with Old Trapper, Beef Jerky, and Stettner Electric. And to your point, I try and go through the pit area, look at the boats, and ask the people, how do they want their boat referred to? Who are the key sponsors? And we do our best to mention them. You never have to with that particular
right.
team. They come find me.
They do.
And they did this morning. They came and found me and said, here's what we want to, here's what we'd love to hear.
I love to hear that. I love to hear that noise right there.
You're involved with.
Uh-huh.
This is courtesy of this is the brainchild of our friend the Statman.
Yes.
Who he got a hold of his inner NCAA football and decided we need to do a pick the prop segment all year long. We alluded to it earlier. Pick the prop segment all year long. We alluded to it earlier, and we playing for, but the stat man has told us it will be very worthwhile.
Playing to win.
Well,
Bragging
there you
rights.
go.
All that.
There you go. And is it okay that he's picking the prize and he's in the contest?
Not really.
Is there a
If he
conflict?
wins, there's a problem.
Yeah. Oh, he's in our ear going,
Yeah.
no, it doesn't have anything to do with it. So let's talk a little bit about this.
Yeah.
We have 6 people, or groups of people in this case, that are involved in this process. We have Tanner Faust, who should be arriving in town here almost any time. My cohort
Is he
here.
flying in himself? Or is he?
I don't know.
Okay. You know,
But Tanner Faust will be here. I am involved, the stat man himself, and some young lady by the name of Erica, who's over here fixing the dew and getting ready for the day. Erica is here at the end of the table. Mr. Hall, you are in it. And then the fans.
Yes.
The fans are in. They have a vote. We have a poll running online where they can pick their picks for the weekend. So first of all, and where we go from here, but in first place with 2,355 points, it's the H1 Unlimited fans. They're on top. So I think we're supposed to be
better than us.
So the fans are seeing it on the screen there. That
they're taking it to us.
So aren't you, me, and Erica?
It's time to get serious.
Aren't we supposed to be the experts?
It's time to get serious. Gloves are off.
That's it. And the fans are kicking our tails here. So 2,355 points, followed by Tanner at 2,185. Yours truly sits at 1,850. The stat man at 1,580.
Yep.
Erica at 1,450 points. And then there's this guy named Hall. Hanging out here with 880 points. Go for it.
Let me talk about that, because for me, I wanted to make sure to support Madison and the underdog. I'll always do that, but I changed my approach this week.
All right. So here's kind of how it works. We very similar to H1 Unlimited. Our boats will come out and qualify later on in the day based on their national high points, and the boats with the lowest amount of points will qualify first. We're going to do the same thing. The person or persons here, depending, who has the lowest amount of points, that's Brent Hall for those of you watching.
Strategy.
Strategy, I see.
Strategy.
It's early in the year. If you're going to be on the bottom, be on the bottom early.
That's right.
There you go. So Brent is going to get first choice, and the way this works, we have 2 rounds. So you're going to get 2 boats. And in the first round, you can pick any boat that you want. And then the rest of us who follow you in inverse order of our points, we have to pick from the remaining boats in the field.
That's right.
When we get to the second round, you can pick any boat that you want, even if that boat has already been chosen by somebody else also in the second round. However, you can only pick that boat once during the season. So
Stat man, this is complex.
It's very
If you have
complex.
to repeat it again, we may have to do that.
So let's start with you, Mr. Hall.
Yes.
Here are your picks in the first round. Why your picks here and why you're picking the boats you are, because you got a powerful lineup here.
Sure. Well, I went with the underdog last time, and that was by design. And I'm really proud to support Miss Madison. But this time, I'm just gonna say, that's a bad man, Andrew Tate. I think he's gonna bring it this weekend. I think he wants a Gold Cup. So I've got Andrew Tate as my first pick, and then we know that Corey is one of the most successful drivers here at Tri-Cities, and his record proves that. So I have Corey as number 2, and I feel real good about that.
Well, and we're going to see there's definitely a pattern here with the second picks, but we'll get to that in just a moment.
But I don't like what Erica did, because Erica, we're going to get the same amount of points. I can't get ahead of her. That's where I'm frustrated.
So Brent picked in the first round. Brent picked the U91, the Goodman Real Estate, and Andrew Tate. Now, next up, picking in our first round is Erica Allreed. She can pick any boat she wants, except
any boat.
the 91, because you've taken that one off the table.
Yeah.
Erica's not on the headset here, but she's smiling in her head going, I know exactly what I'm doing. She picked the 9. She went with Corey. she knows Corey hasn't been beaten here since 2019 on this course, so I think she likes Corey. I think she knows Corey is the defending APBA Gold Cup champion. Corey feels a sense of responsibility here to his owners and having their back and their home water. So Erica went with the U9 and Corey Peabody. Now the stat man, I expect him to start chirping in our ear here any moment.
Uh-oh, you don't like it?
Can you do that?
Yeah, get on.
I'm on.
Come on.
Are you on? Can our fans hear you, Mr. Statman?
Maybe.
Maybe. We're hoping you can hear our Statman. He is on the line. Our third picker today is the Statman.
Yes.
He goes by the name Statman, but he is Nick Kish. He's got 1,580 points. Nick, appreciate you coming on here and joining us. Explain your first pick here, your first round pick today.
Well, I was thinking about going between two boats. I know the name of this game is to get the most points for the weekend. So I picked somebody who didn't get any points in heats last year, and I went with the 8, J. Michael Kelly. It was between that and this boat that we're seeing on the water right now.
That's a solid pick. I worry about that one.
Did not realize we had another H1 Unlimited boat on the water. We will cover that and talk about that because it is Jeff Bernard driving the U12, the Graham Trucking. These guys came out and looked really, really good. These guys looked really, really good this morning as much work has been done on that water. I think they got the boat back to the dock. They pulled the box out, looked at the data, checked everything, made sure it was good, and I expect we'll see an increase in speed here from Jeff Bernard. It's the U12, the Graham Trucking, a boat Jeff knows very, very well. This is the former T6, for those of you historians who like to remember those days of Budweiser. It was the 6th and final boat built by the Miss Budweiser racing team. Jeff has 3 career victories, all in this boat, all with Tom Anderson as his crew chief. So, paper, maybe this is it. And we know Jeff's a competitor.
This is one of those dark horses you got to watch out for. Jeff's a cagey veteran, knows how to get lane 1. If he gets in there, he can mix some things up.
Well, and yeah, and Jeff, to your point, that is a driver who will find a way to get on. If he wants to go there, he will find a way there. Jeff is, I remember when I first met Jeff, his uncle came to me in Seattle, that would be Uncle Mark.
Yeah.
Mark Weber came up to me and said, this guy is going to be one of the greatest drivers you've ever seen. And, you know, across all types of racing, he has lived true to form. He's only got 3 victories in the H1 class, but this kid can handle a race boat. Yeah, I call him a kid, of course. I call them all kids, Ron. From my view.
Kid's fine. I remember meeting him as a kid, 20 years old, 2005, when he first got laps in an Unlimited, and you know, I could just see his eyes were wide open. He was really excited about the opportunity, and it's been fun to watch him grow, and now he's a veteran.
He cranked that lap at 150, and I believe Jeff is not sure he's running that hard up the backstretch. This boat has always, they call it pushing really easy. This boat has always done that. It just seems to drive effortlessly around the race course. See if Jeff tightens it up a little bit. That's a nice corner at the top end, comes out to maybe lane 2. He will come down. Fast lap was the previous one at 150 miles per hour. See if upon that. Boy, the boat sure looks good. Bright color on it. Looks really good. I love the silver trim. I'm glad they went back to it. It's black and red with that silver swoopies on the side of the boat. That's a technical paint term there. Swoopies. Yeah.
Gotta have the swoopies.
Don't ask me where that came from.
I don't know, but I like it.
I don't know where it came from either.
Yeah.
How about that? 152.181. And Jeff has definitely pulled his foot now. And again, being the consummate racer, he has learned what he wanted to.
Yep.
And now he's probably said, all right, let me play around on this race course a little bit, see if he doesn't do a timing mark. And again, when we say that, our racing is all done on a clock start.
Yep.
You want to know exactly at what time you can put your foot in it, and he is going to cut the race course here. And this is a perfectly legal maneuver when we go racing. It's part of the milling period. It's part of the fighting for lanes. And I'm going to assume this might mean Jeff is going to take it back to the pit area.
Yeah, it's an interesting move. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Looks like he's...
Or he could hook it left on the GP course again, and this whole thing could be just kind of timing a few things.
About to find out. Does he turn left? Nope, not there.
He does not. So it looks like he's going to go all the way down. We'll keep an eye on him. If not, we will get back to our pick the prop and wrap that up because I think he's going to head her back in. So black flag has come out on the race course. So we got a couple of minutes here. So let's finish up our pick the prop. And we just learned from
Erica
Nick,
still has a really confident smile on.
She does, and we cannot see the stat man from here, but I know he has a very confident smile as well. Next up on our list is yours truly. Brent took the 91 off the list. Erica took the 9 off the list. Statman took the 8 off the list.
So what you got?
I was staring down the 27, the 12, the 11, or the 21.
Yeah.
And I went with Super Dave.
I can understand that.
Super
He's
Dave
been looking good.
And he ran a 163 earlier today, so I'm feeling pretty good about Faust, who I just got notification just landed over at the Tri-Cities Airport. Tanner Faust, picking from the remaining boats, has picked the boat we just watched, the U-12, Jeff Bernard, and the Graham Trucking. Choice. And our fans, now they're sitting on top of the list here, but they picked last.
Yeah.
And they get the boat I had.
Okay.
They wanted
45% went to the U91.
45% to the U91, but the fans get the U11 to Miss Flav-R-Pac and Jamie Nilsen. Now, the Flav-R-Pac did me well last week. So, recapping very quickly, Brent has the 91, Erica has the 9, Statman has the 8, yours truly has the U27, Tanner will have the U12, and the fans get the U11. And true. Round true.
Yeah, round true or two, whichever one you
We're just
like.
about done with this. We're probably pretty ready for that. Yeah, food would be a good thing. So, again, the way round 2 works, you can pick any boat you want, regardless of whether or not it has been selected before in the second round. However, you can only pick this boat once a season.
I know.
This is the Gold Cup. We've got an extra set of heats. You want to make sure you pick the right boat today.
It was hard because Corey's really consistent, and it's like, but I just know how he does in Tri-Cities, and I need points bad. So I had to gamble.
Yes, you do. Just to remind our fans.
No, we don't have to do that.
Brent is at the bottom of the list. He has Andrew Tate. In the first round, he has gone with Corey Peabody in the U9. That is the Beacon Plumbing. So, Brent, you got the 91 and the 9. That looks like a pretty good combination.
Andrew,
Erica picked the 9 in the first round. Can pick any boat she wants. Hasn't picked the 91 yet this year. She picked the 91. So, both of you, Brent Hall, Erica Allreed, both have the 91 and the 9. Statman, Nick Kish, I think he liked both of yours and Erica's pick. He went with the 91. So that will be the end of the 91 for Erica and the Statman this season, but they're going to ride Andrew Tate with their second pick, Erica and Statman here in the Tri-Cities.
Very smart decision.
Yours truly looked at it the same way you did.
Yep.
I like the consistency. I like the fact that Corey Peabody Corey Peabody is a big-time competitor. I think he's going to come out here with his game face on. Granted, they all do.
Yes.
And I'm expecting Corey Peabody to have a very good weekend out here. I went with Corey as my second pick. Tanner Faust, he liked that thought too.
Yeah.
He went with the U9. He went with Corey Peabody as his second pick. And the fans?
Yeah.
They went with the U9 as well. Yeah. So we have Erica, the Statman, yours truly, Tanner, and the fans. We have the 9 and the 91 in round 2 picked by every one of those. So that's the last time those two boats can get picked all season long.
I know it.
We need them to rack up some points for. So
there you go. You got extra heat too. Yep.
It has. That is it. We will be talking more about our pick the points. You name it. Yep. It all counts. So let's take a look at the clock here. I've seen our chief referee go up and down the stairs a couple of times.
Rescue boats are coming in.
Rescue boats are coming in. My clock says 11:02. That is going to do it for our opening session here of testing on the Columbia River. It is the 60th Tri-City Waterfallies event here in the world, the APBA Gold Cup. I'm Brad Luce. Brent Hall, we're going to step away. It is air show time here in the Tri-Cities. That means it's lunchtime for you and me, young
Lunchtime
man.
for us both people,
Let's
yeah.
go find a sandwich somewhere. Fans, we will be back at 1 o'clock Pacific time this afternoon, and we're going to go qualify. Then we start earning our points for the weekend, and the teams start earning their points. Those of you who want to watch us, we will be on a little slightly different stream. The connection and the link will be posted. Keep an eye out for it. But it'll still be Brent Hall. It'll still be Brad Luce. If that's a good thing or not, it'll be us with Erica. Hopefully we'll have Tanner Faust, and we have a surprise coming up this afternoon with Tanner Faust, but we'll hold that one back just a little bit, a little teaser.
Yes.
So for Brad Luce, Erica Allreed, Brent Hall saying so long from the Tri-Cities. We'll be back at 1 o'clock.